Hi, Grandma here, and I'm reading Dave at Night, and I'll be beginning with chapter 13. In chapter 12, Davis had a great time at the party, but he fell asleep, and now he woke up, and it's gray outside, not black. Chapter 13. Sally was telling the musicians, "A joker usually means I get another." I rushed to him. "What time is it?" "You're awake, boy chick? What time is it?" "Oh, this is your grandson, Sally?" asked Martin the trumpeter. "What time is it? I have to know." "What time? What time?" the parrot squawked. "He's late for a date," one of the musicians said. The others laughed. "Shut up, everybody. Just tell me the time." Sally pulled out his watch. 5:15. When did everybody wake up? When did Dr. Doom get up? "I have to go. Bye." The museums thought this was hilarious, and they started laughing again. Then I remembered that I couldn't leave without my grandfather. "Let's go, Grandpa, hurry." Sally put the cards in his pocket. "Another time, gentlemen, I'll make you fortune, and you can make musicians out of me. I should be so lucky." I tugged Tolly through the apartment. "I'm coming, boy chick, I'm coming." Hardly anyone was still there. A man was stretched out across 4 chairs, sleeping. 2 men were moving furniture from the hall back into the apartment. When we got downstairs, I said, "Bye, I have to go. If only I could fly to the HHB and then in a window." "Not so fast. What kind of grandpa am I if I don't deliver you to your HHB safe and sound?" "Oh, I'll be safe," I said. I couldn't stand there talking. "Then maybe I need protection. Which way do we go?" I pointed at the park. "On the other side of that." "Oi, I'll trip on a root. It'll be the end of me. Suppose we go around." It would take too long. "I'll be okay. Bye." I took a few steps, then turned. "Thanks." If I got back into the asylum alive, then it would have been a wonderful night. I started off and turned back again. I wanted to fix the lie I told. "Sally, Mr. Gruber, Sally is good. Calling me Sally." I nodded. "Sally, my real name is Dave Caros, not Rubino." "Bye." I turned and ran. "Davila, about Herbalise's party." I stopped. How could I have forgotten? "Should I come to your HHB or what?" "No, I can meet you somewhere." Sally said we should meet at the corner at 11. "All right." I started to run. "Wait, boy chick." At this rate, I was never going to get back. "Here." Sally pulled $1 out of his pocket. "Put it with the other one so it shouldn't be so lonely." I stood still, amazed. I stared at Sally. He looked like he needed the money more than I did. I swallowed hard. "Thanks." And then I really ran. I tripped over a branch and kept running. I made as much noise as a stampeding elephant. I sprang over the low wall and left the park. I bounded across St. Nicholas Terrace and raced toward the HHB. All the lights were still off, and the street was quiet. My knees felt weak from relief. The branch of the tree I'd climbed before arched high over my head. I tried to climb the fence, but I couldn't get a grip on the iron posts. The trolley rumbled by half a block away on Broadway. People who worked at the HHB might be getting off. They could arrive any second. A light winked in the basement of the asylum. I was going to get caught. I backed across the street into an alley, crashing into an empty trash can. The sound thundered in the street. I held my breath. No more lights came on in the HHB. What about the can? I could stand on it and get a boost up the fence. As quietly as possible, I carried it across the street to the fence, climbed up on it. It started to buckle, then it held my weight, but the crossbar was still too high to reach. I lugged the can back to the alley and stood there blinking. It was hopeless. I wasn't going to get in till they opened the front gate. I'd go in side by side with Mr. Doom. He'd do to me what he'd done to Leon, or worse. A horse and cart clattered down the street and stopped at the side entrance. I hid behind the ash can. It was the milk delivery for the orphanage. The milkman climbed down from his perch behind the horse. He went to the back of the cart, lifted out 2 small wagons. Then he moved to the other side of the cart where I couldn't see him. A man wearing pajamas, just like mine, came out of the side door of the asylum. He was the man I'd seen in the basement, the janitor. As he came down the path, I heard him humming. The last time he'd been singing. He stopped humming and said, "I swear you come earlier every day, Pat." I heard the lock turn and the gate swing open. He disappeared behind the cart where the milkman was. "Hello, Ed, it's time you were up and looking after these little brats. I'm the janitor and I don't look after anybody." Could I sneak by them? If I couldn't see them because this cart was in the way, they couldn't see me. It was my only chance. I darted across the street and crouched on my side on the cart. On my side of the cart. The horse shuffled a step and shook in its head. This was it. The horse had given me away. Nope, it was ordinary horse behavior. The milkman didn't come around to investigate. "Did your cousin get a radio?" "He did," the milkman laughed. "At least 100 people packed into his room to hear the thing. Wheeze and crackle. Careful there, that's it then." The milkman was going to drive away, leaving me staring at Ed. "Let's go." I watched their feet from under the cart. They wheeled the milk down the path to the asylum, leaving the gate open behind them. They disappeared into the basement entrance. I ran through the gate and started from the front door. Then I stopped. The milkman could come out any second and see me. I rushed back to hide in the bushes that lined the fence. At least I was inside. I waited. A light came on in a window of the 4th floor. Any second, they'd ring a wake-up bell. Finally, the milkman came out. A minute later, he was clopping down the street, and I was dashing toward the front door. I prayed for it still to be open. I pounded up the steps. My hand stopped an inch from the doorknob. Mr. Doom could be there waiting. I turned the doorknob. The door was open. Mazel tov, like the parrot said. Congratulations. I inched the door open. The lobby was dark. I stepped inside. Somebody grabbed my arm and slammed the door. "Gotcha!" Now that would be a cliffhanger if I were to stop, but I'm going on to the next chapter. Chapter 14. "Stinking kid, couldn't have gotten me fired if I hadn't seen you through the window." It was Mr. Meltzer. He pulled me to the stairs, squeezing my arm so tight my fingers tingled. At least it wasn't Mr. Doom. Mike and Mr. Meltzer didn't hit. Mike said Mr. Meltzer didn't hit. "Bloom will kill you," he growled. "Serves you right, I'd like to kill you myself." He was talking me to Mr. Doom. I didn't do it. Oh, he was taking me to Mr. Doom. My eyes are not doing so well today. I didn't do anything. I just took a walk. My heart banged around crazily. He pulled me up the steps and half dragged me to the 11's room. So he wasn't taking me to Mr. Doom after all. "Thank you, Mr. Meltzer." Outside the door, he stopped. "What's this?" He tugged on Sally's tie. I'd forgotten all about it. "It's my grandfather's." Mr. Meltzer untied it and stuffed it in his pocket. He opened the door to the room, which was dim in the almost dawn. Everybody was still asleep. One of Mike's legs stuck out past the edge of the bed. It shook. The bell clanged. They all sat up and started to make their beds. Nobody rolled over to get another minute of sleep. They were too well behaved or too scared. "Get moving, all of you. Hurry up," Mr. Meltzer yelled. "Make your beds and line up for the showers." He turned to me. "I'll take you to Mr. Bloom after breakfast." Oh, he was taking me. My heart started banging again. Everybody heard. The kids moved out of my way as I walked to my bed. I felt how comfortably my legs moved, how my arms swung at my side. After Mr. Doom was done, though, would someone have to carry me? I followed everybody in the showers. Kids ahead of me stumbled because they were staring at me instead of looking where they were going. "Stop looking at me!" I was going to be fine. What I'd done wasn't so bad. I'd come back, hadn't I? What did you do? Mike bounced up and down next to me. Oh, I snuck out. Well, it's been nice knowing you. Mr. Meltzer stood over me during breakfast. That meant Mo couldn't eat my food, even though he was next to me as usual. But it was a waste because I wasn't hungry. The bell rang. Breakfast was over. Mr. Meltzer put his hand on my shoulder. You stay. Here, kid, Mo said. My lucky penny, it'll protect you. I took it. It couldn't hurt. But don't spend it, he added. I want it back. Dave, Mike said, you need your strength. He handed me something and slapped my arm. Good luck. He'd given me half a roll. I ate it while everybody filed out of the basement. I could tell Mr. Doom I'd gone home last night because my brother was sick, or I'd pretend I was a sleepwalker. And as soon as I realized I was outside the home, I hurried back because I knew it was against the rules, and I hated kids who broke the rules. If he didn't believe me, I'd get away from him. He was big. He'd be slow. I'd outrun him. Let's go, Mr. Meltzer said. I didn't move. He yanked me up by my jacket. Come on, he pulled me toward the stairs. I made myself as heavy as I could. On the stairs, I latched onto the banister, even though I knew it was cowardly. Mr. Meltzer pried my hand loose. Don't make me carry you. I didn't want him to carry me into Mr. Doom. I stopped fighting him. He knocked on the door of Mr. Doom's office. Then he held me by the elbow and we stepped inside. The new boy, Dave Karros, I caught him trying to run away. That was a lie. He caught me coming back. Sit down, son, Mr. Doom rumbled. I sat. Mr. Meltzer left and closed the door behind him. I wasn't running away. I was just... Mr. Doom's face reddened. Did I ask you a question? No, but... He reached for his yardstick. Sir? No, sir. His voice began to rumble. I think we should have a chat. Don't you agree? Yes, sir. I agree, sir. He leaned back in his seat. Mrs. Bloom and I love the finer things in life. The theater, concerts. He rumbled a chuckle. Mrs. Bloom's little hobby is following the doings of high society. What was he talking about? But keep yapping and stay away from that yardstick. So, one might wonder at my choice of vocation. I admit it's a sacrifice, but someone has to do the dirty work. Someone has to take in children like you. He straightened his spectacles. Otherwise, you'd have nowhere to go. However, it's like putting a rattlesnake in your bosom. Bosom? I didn't even want to laugh. Snakes bite, and chances are you'll be bitten. What else can you expect from paupers and orphans? He shook his head sadly. But in a civilized society. This was like a Mr. Cluck lecture about how hard we were to teach. I settled back in the leather chair. I was still scared, but I could see I wasn't in danger this second. He droned on about how much he improved the HHB. I looked around the office again. We should have electric fires in our rooms. I looked at the knick-knack case. You're a typical orphan, I see. My eyes snapped to Mr. Doom, and then back to the knick-knacks. Papa's carving was there, on the second shelf next to the china donkey. Your father was an indigent, a bum. Your stepmother... At least my father wasn't a thief, I blurted out. Mr. Doom's face got so red it glowed. He reached for the yardstick. His spectacles slipped sideways. He looked crazy. I should have run, but instead I went for the carving. I didn't reach it. The flat side of the yardstick smashed into my shoulder and threw me against his desk. Thief, he called. You call me? He hit me again. The edge of the stick tore across my neck, and the end cut into my cheek and ear. Drops of blood fell upon the carpet. I think I screamed. I ran to put the desk between us. He came after me. Your papa, he hollered. You compare? The yardstick caught me in the chest. I staggered back. My head hit the corner of the desk. For a second, everything went blank. Then I opened my eyes. He was standing over me with the yardstick raised over his head, and I realized he didn't care what he did to me. Well, we're stopping there, another cliffhanger. Now, I hope you know what a cliffhanger is. A cliffhanger is when a chapter or a part of it, well, a chapter ends, and you're left, and you want to keep reading so you can find out how it is resolved. This comes from the old time movies, where they would stop the movie when someone's hanging from a cliff, and you'd have to come back next week and pay more money to see if they were rescued from the cliff. Anyway, see you later. Bye-bye.